Okay, I think it's time to get going. Good morning, everybody, and welcome along to today's Tide Masterclass, How to Go Freelance. It's wonderful to have you all along. This is our first webinar masterclass session of 2021. We're still in our home offices, counting down the days till we can get back to physical events, but we're making the best of it, and it's great to have you along, and really real pleasure to be able to talk to you. I need to start with a slight apology this morning. Unfortunately, Ellie Cooper isn't able to make it, but we hope to have her along to a future event later in the year, so do please keep an eye out for that. But we still have a wonderful panel who we'll get to chat to in a second. My name is Kuan Hawker. Really good to see a great number of people joining us. Some names I recognise, some I don't, so that's fantastic. And I'm the events manager here at Tide. A quick tour of Zoom. I can't imagine there's many people joining today who haven't used Zoom before, but just in case there isn't, we'll be using the chat room, which some people are using already. If you want to just say hi or you have any comments, please just use the chat room, and we'll get around to seeing and responding to those. We'll be using the chat room as well to put in some links to some really good resources, both from the panel and from myself, so keep an eye out for that. I'll let you know when the links have gone in there throughout the session. And we're also using the Q&A button as well. So wherever you put your toolbar on your screen, there's a Q&A button. If you have questions, please do get those in, and we're having a Q&A session at the end of today's masterclass, so within the last 15-20 minutes or so. Before we get going, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of Tide and what we do. So we are the UK's fastest growing online business current account provider, and we currently have over 290,000 members. Our aim is to provide our members with a service that saves them both time and money when it comes to their business banking. We're great for SMEs and for startups and for freelancers. There are no credit checks or startup or monthly fees, so you can try us out alongside your current business bank account provider and see how we can save you time and money and take away the stress of business banking, especially if you're a new freelancer and you're trying to do something new. Use Tide and we can make your business banking life a lot easier. The sign-up process itself is really simple. It takes between 5 and 10 minutes. You'll receive your sort code and your account number within that time, so you can start your banking straight away with your beautiful Tide card coming through the post a few days later. The app itself, really easy to use as well. We have a great amount of in-app products which will make your life a lot easier. A couple of my favorites, the auto categorization tool, so you can see exactly where your money went and when it went there. We also have a receipt capture tool as well. So if you're out making expenses on your Tide card, take a picture of the receipt and the system automatically matches the receipt with the transaction, and you're able then to send that off to your accountant, your accountancy software, and it saves you having shoeboxes full of receipts which you have to match up every month or every quarter. It's a really time-saving tool which has been really popular. And you're also able to split the account into 4 sub-accounts as well. So you can have a sub-account for your marketing, for your tax, for your wages, whatever it is that will make your life and your banking needs run a lot smoother and allow you to save time and money with your banking as well. I will talk to you a little bit later on as well about how to stay up to date with what we're doing and how we're going to make it even easier for you to become a Tide member if you are not already one. But for now, we're going to move on to the main part of the event, and it's wonderful to have our 2 speakers on, Darren and Tom, and I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves first of all, and we'll start with Tom. Good morning, Tom.
Yeah, hey guys, thanks for joining us, really appreciate it. So I'm Tom Osborne, Head of Photography for SouthWorks Creative. I started the freelance journey in March last year, so right in the middle of the pandemic. I came from a position where I was working nine years in my old position, so this is quite a step out of my comfort zone for me.
Wonderful, thanks. I really appreciate your time and effort in joining us today. And Darren, good morning, Darren, how are you?
Yeah, thanks, Kuan. Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Darren Fell. I am a serial entrepreneur. I set up Pure 360, the email marketing firm, anti-spam. I've got to really put in there vehemently. And then in 2007, madly decided to disrupt the whole world of accountancy with an online accountancy software and accountancy firm called Crunch, which is going very strong at the moment for freelance contractors and small businesses. We have 10,000 paying customers, 56,000 in the community, and we've just launched our free accounting software. And we've been connected to Tide for a little while now, and the PR is going out next week. So yeah, that's why I'm on here, because it's a great working relationship with Tide.
Great, and perfect timing, almost planned, I would say, right?
Sorry, segued in there, cool.
No, perfect. I think it's great to have you along, and thank you again. So I think a great place to start for us is going to be with Tom, who's going to take us through his freelance journey over the past few months and his learning. So Tom, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Kuan. Yeah, so I'd basically just like to start with my first steps, and the first is the why, the vision, and the goal. I guess you've got to have a reason why you want to go freelance and your end goal. And mine was, I didn't feel fulfilled, wasn't happy in my old position. I wanted to expand my skills and get outside the bubble. The vision was I wanted to create my own company. I wanted to create, bring on new clients. I wanted to keep my creative journey flowing. And the goal was just to build a self-sufficient company that's well respected within the industry and improve my work-life balance, which was key, especially at the moment, spending far too much time locked in with work. And there needs to be a balance there. You're spending 5 days out of 7 days working. You need to make sure you're happy there. And a couple of steps like planning life and business. So when you decide you want to go freelance, I think you really need to decide what time and why. Find the right time. We'll touch on this on more slides, but it's quite key to figure out when you want to leave because of certain goals in your life. Market research, also make sure you find your niche. Try and find something that you're good at and focus on this. And mine was food and lifestyle. And there was a nice little niche in there that I decided, no, I'm going to go for the food and lifestyle business, photography. And basically that's where I started. Set a clear date. This was key for me. I said, by the time I'm 30, I want to have my own business. It sounds quite simple, but having a clear date, you can work towards your goals and you're not kind of jumping in and out or just because, I'm not happy at this moment in time in my job, I'm going to jump to a freelance role. Make sure you set a date and make sure it's planned. Start saving as well. Whilst you're still on a decent salary or you've got a constant monthly income, start putting some money away. I started investing in photography kit, bought a couple of lenses, a couple of cameras, slowly add to it. And you can save up and get a little financial buffer before you go freelance. And definitely start networking. One of my key points of going freelance was the amount of people you can meet through friends and family, just being nice to people, just talking to people, even reaching out to local competitors and just talking to people and start to build up a network, up a network of clients as well. That's my first steps. Just have some goals, make some decisions.
Great.
And then personal finances. So this is definitely key for me. There's a lot of talk about when you start up a business about your business finances, but personal finances play a massive role in it. Going from, adjusting from a salary to a freelancer wage can be tough. You're getting a constant income on a monthly basis, and then you go to freelance, your income could be up, could be down. So you need to kind of adjust to where you are. Be prepared to lower your monthly outgoings and start doing this before you jump into your freelance role. Really look at what you need and what you don't need, and again, adjust your monthly outgoings. Savings or financial buffer. So when I decided I was going to go freelance, I decided I was going to start putting a bigger chunk of my salary into savings, create a little buffer. This is just good, if you're having a slow month or you need some money for the startup. The bigger the buffer, the better, really. If you can do that, I'd do that as far in advance as you can. Create a personal cash flow forecast. This is definitely key. So, like a business cash flow forecast, you need to know what your incomings and your outgoings are. You need to kind of work out what your monthly outgoings will be. So you can then, once you go freelance, X amount of money is outgoing. This is good because you can kind of get an idea of roughly what your salary needs to be or what you need to earn to break even. And again, going back to reducing kind of all unnecessary / luxury outgoings, it's amazing what you don't really need and how much you can slimline your monthly outgoings to keep things down. So for me, I sold my car, got rid of my monthly outgoings, cut down on subscriptions, Netflix, everything like that, just to really slim it down. And then it's also something I didn't think about at the time, but think about if you're looking at getting a mortgage or your mortgage is up for renewal or you're thinking of renting. Once you go freelance, it's quite hard to get a mortgage. Even renting can be awkward with your credit score. So think about the future. Again, this goes back to timings of when you want to go freelance. So maybe think about that. Some mortgage brokers almost want 3 years of PAYE slips before they accept you. But again, it's just something to consider. Same again, it comes with credit scores and loans. Make sure that you are not going to be taking out big credit cards, so you're not applying for big loans. Just bear that all in mind when you go freelance, because it does really affect your credit score. Another one is personal finances and support from a partner. So I talked to my partner about this when I said I wanted to go freelance, and we worked out whether it's possible, whether we could split some outgoings, or if I was having a bad month, if she could cover me here, cover me there. So it's always good to work with a partner to see if you can both kind of work together. Yeah, I'd say that's probably it. Personal finances is definitely key. Cool. Business startup costs. So initial cash for startup. Do you have the initial cash? This comes back to the point of saving whilst you earn a salary, to work out if you can create a little pot, because as soon as you start a company up, you're going to have your formation costs, your accounts, your insurance, your equipment, software. It all adds up. So definitely having a little pot handy really helps when you start kicking things off. Also, you can look into business loans, but that totally depends on your startup costs. Sometimes you'll be able to use your own capital you've saved, but sometimes you're going to need a loan to invest. For me, for kit, or for camera kit, or hire kit, or computer software, we had to take out a small. We actually took out a small lease on the equipment, but there are loans. There are a lot of startup loans companies. You can do your research out there, but you do have to present them with a business plan, or a cash flow forecast, or business cash flow forecast. So just bear those things in mind. But there are companies out there that do offer startup loans to companies and freelancers. Again, going to monthly running costs. This is similar to personal cash flow forecast, but for your business. So you can work out your monthly outgoing for your business. So you're going to know each month X amount of money is going out the company. So it's just to get a basis, so you know kind of where your outgoings are and how much things cost. It does add up quickly. And then bank accounts. So for obvious reasons, we picked Tide. And that's due just mainly because that app sold it to us. The fact that we could pick up our phone, send an invoice to our clients, attach our receipts, keep track of our expenses. It was just super easy, and that's basically what sold Tide to us. Amazing app.
Good. Let's hear that, Tom. Thanks very much.
Accountants. This was quite key. We spent quite a bit of time looking for the right accountants. We had a couple of interviews with different accountants. And we ended up paying slightly more for an accountant that specialised in photography, production, and video, just because they knew their way around the accounts in that kind of industry a lot better. And it's worth looking around. Don't jump on the first accountant you see who's out there. Do your research a bit.
That's a really interesting point, Tom. I hadn't considered there'd be accountants specifically for photography businesses. Obviously, I've not set up a business myself, and that's I assumed that accountants would just be accountants, but it's important. It was important for you to find one that was industry specific, and that was possible, right? Yeah,
there's a lot out there that are very industry specific, and it does help, because there's reasons that we picked them because we would have missed something, or they really helped us out with the way we started up. But it's really good. Yeah, definitely do a bit of research into accountants. Also, kind of there's a lot of free advice out there. Again, I'm going to link this to Crunch, because we use Crunch pretty much to find out all the information from the beginning.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, that's okay. It's quite overwhelming, and it's quite hard when you start Googling, how to start a company or how to go freelance. But there is some really good information on Crunch, and definitely on their knowledge page. We spent a lot of time on there, and it's really great, really worth checking out. Also, business grants, local and national. We looked into kind of local grants from your council, etc. Obviously, we couldn't get any, but there are businesses out there that can get local grants and can get kind of funding from their council. So it's worth looking into to see what your council offer. Cool. I think that's it for business costs.
Okay, just say there will be some links we'll be putting into the chat room later as well as we go through.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that.
Being your own boss. Okay, so this is coming from a corporate role where, maybe you're not the boss, or maybe you don't have much freedom as you want. It's quite a shock being your own boss. You just have to stay motivated, and there's lots of things that I didn't realize go on with starting a company or going freelance. All the little bits behind the scenes, all the kind of roles of being a director. It's quite tough, but you just have to keep motivated, keep going.
What do you think you found the most tricky, Tom, when you were starting out, in terms of?
So even things from like setting up accounts, finding the right how to run accounts or how to do a cash flow forecast. It's just all these little tiny areas you totally forget, or even like, making sure I've got the right insurance to cover a photography kit, to cover liability. There's lots of things you really have to think about that. It's not until you're in the position they actually jump in front of you. But yeah, it's good. It's good to take control of all of that side.
Good.
A daily routine. This one, I'm going to preach this, but I definitely don't do it. It's to have a daily routine and make sure that you have kind of strict start and finish times, because I'm a sucker. I'll be on the computer at 7 and I won't be done till 10. But I think it's important to make sure you have division between times you work, because when you work for yourself, you will just go on forever. So
until you flop.
Until you flop, exactly. So have a nice daily routine, and it keeps you motivated. This kind of comes into set daily, weekly, monthly goals. Set small goals each day, tick them off. Set monthly targets. If it's like earning X amount of money, bring in X amount of clients, or anything small that kind of keeps you motivated. But again, work and life boundaries, that kind of links back to daily routine. Make sure you have clear work and life boundaries and don't burn out. Take time off to refresh. Taking a day off here and there is not going to be detrimental to your company, to your work. You need to refresh and come back stronger. Especially at the moment when everyone's working from home, it's really key to have that. Manage your expectations as well. So be realistic. When you hit your goals, be super happy about them. If you don't hit your goals, don't worry too much. Maybe you just need to look at them, readjust, and crack on. So struggles during lockdown and mental health. So I'd say the biggest stress for us at the moment is coronavirus and how we're all kind of stuck in, and business has been pretty poor. But it's just you got to just keep ticking on. Everything's going to be okay in the end. If we can get through this at the moment, give it another 6-12 months, everything's going to be pretty good. So it's trying to be positive, and that kind of links back to the last point about coronavirus and its effects. It's had a big effect on our business, but we've managed to keep our heads above water. So we're looking forward to when everything blows over. And it's been in a weird way, it's been quite an interesting challenge, because we've learned there's lots of new revenue streams that we've figured out and we've learned throughout the pandemic. So it's been kind of a learning curve, but it's been good. It's been good and bad. It's got its pluses and minuses. Let me just jump actually to dealing with clients. So when you're dealing with clients one-to-one, that's something new to me. When I was in my old position, I wouldn't have to deal with the clients, but you can get, tough clients, or clients that don't pay on time, or clients that are really awkward to deal with. But over time, you become accustomed to this, and you learn how to deal with people and talk to people. So try not to feel overwhelmed. That'll just come with time. Yeah, I think that's it for being your own boss.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let me know if I'm waffling on.
No, not at all. I think it's all really great stuff. I think
really good stuff.
I think the importance about having a routine as well. Like you say, it's important when you're a freelancer in normal circumstances, but even if, especially in today's issue where we're just at home, and this kind of thing, it's so easy to get out of bed or be in bed in the morning and just working straight away. And if you're working in your bedroom or anything like that, it's just when you're home, it's so easy to continue working until the wee hours. And so it's really important to have those
even basic tips as keep your laptop in one room, and when you're relaxing or in your bedroom, don't bring any technology with you. But again, that is really hard to do in this day and age. So I just kind of want to kind of sum up 9-10 months on kind of what I've learned, what we've learned from jumping from a corporate role into a freelance role working for ourselves. It's the classic try and try again. The amount of mistakes you make, it's fine. I wouldn't really call them mistakes. You're learning from making decisions, and it's just keep trying and you'll find a way. Always be positive. As soon as you start getting your head in a negative space, that's when you're gonna lose your way. You just got to be positive. Remember, it's part of the journey. Challenge yourself. This is one I find key. Always get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So what I've learned is if I'm uncomfortable, I'm learning. So I'm always putting myself in positions where oh, I don't know whether I can do this, or this job's too big for me, or am I qualified to be doing this? Well, you will learn on the way, and as long as you believe in yourself, it's really key. Keep pushing yourselves. Don't turn down jobs because you don't believe in yourself, or you don't feel like you have the experience. Otherwise, you'll never learn and you never keep improving. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about why this year's not gone to plan. Again, launching in March last year, we had about 2 weeks. We did about 2 photo shoots, and then we went into a lockdown. And
couldn't possibly have picked a worse time, Tom. It's hilarious, isn't it?
I know, it's bad. Well, I set the goal date, and I was like, nothing's going to get in the way. We need to get this to work. Yeah, so we had a couple of jobs, and I went into lockdown. Most of our clients were within the hospitality industry, so it all went a bit quiet. But again, we were improvising. We found different revenue streams, and things are slowly ticking through. So it's been quite a nice learning curve.
Yeah.
Actually, this is probably my biggest point: talk to people and networking. I never realised how important just talking and being nice to people is. Even if it's in your local community, local businesses, just talk to people. I've had many of my recent jobs have been by just messaging people or talking to people that have local businesses, or popping in, explaining what we do. Even with Tide, did a job for Tide during lockdown, producing some content for their blog, and that was just by messaging them and saying, hey guys, stuck in lockdown, do you guys need any social content? And then there we go, story went from there. Self-worth, never underestimate yourself. Always value your self-worth, and the quality of your work. This is definitely key, because you'll have clients coming to you. You need to stick to your prices. Basically, you've invested in yourself, so make sure that you're investing in the quality of your work. At the beginning, I was definitely pricing all the jobs far too low, just to try and get clients in. And this was tough, because the smaller jobs would often be the biggest jobs, and you'd be there forever. And they never turn out to be worth what they were. But always believe in yourself and believe in your pricing. When in doubt, just go back to your why, your vision, and your goal, and just keep cracking on the journey. Don't over expect. Try to be realistic. It's tough to set up a business, especially at the moment. But just again, keep going. And the final point is just be confident in yourself and your product. If you've got something you believe in, you'll definitely succeed. Yeah.
Perfect. Did you have any kind of mentor, Tom, or anybody that you know had done something similar to you, which you sort of bounced ideas off, or things like that? Was that something in which you were able to do?
So it kind of goes back to networking. I would network with a lot of people, or photographers, or people, that had kind of similar businesses. And people are actually super friendly. People love to share their knowledge with you. Okay. And I think that's key. Like trying to bounce off 3 or 4 people who have been successful in a similar industry. Yeah. And just talk to people. Yeah, I think that's really key, isn't it? Just knowing that people are in the same boat as you, and will obviously want to, like you are now, or want to share experiences and like help you out. Yeah.
I mean, Tom, that thing you said about even talk to competitors. In the very being of you, often no, I shouldn't talk to competitors. But you should, and you've done the right thing by talk to as many people, because you learn so much, and they're happy to share stuff with you. And then if you've got too much work, when there is too much work, you can hand stuff between you. So I've always recommend talk to the competitors. Which people go, no, I'm not talking to my competitors. I hate them. No, talk to them. Yeah,
people are very friendly, and exactly like you said, you'll be speaking to a competitor, and they hand jobs off to you, or if you haven't got time, you can hand a job off to somebody else. It becomes a little network, and that's the really nice part about it.
That's great. And I guess in those networks as well, if somebody has a job which they're unable to do, they'll be like, oh, I know Tom, he's good at that. And, you might get some business or jobs which you wouldn't have had otherwise without the network, as well as having the learnings of how you get to be a successful business too. Just had a nice message coming from Roxy, just saying, thanks, Tom, this is really helpful. I found the business mindset and self-worth much more of a struggle than I thought it would be. So this is really encouraging. So yes, that's great that we've had that.
Thank you, Roxy. Yeah,
great. Thanks for getting in touch, Roxy. So great, thanks for that, Tom. Really insightful. And remember to get your questions in as we go through today's masterclass. We're doing a Q&A at the end, so remember to get those in using the Q&A button wherever it is on your screen. So Darren, I guess following on from Tom, it'd be great to hear from you as a business owner whose business has helped tens of thousands of people on their freelance journey, and what your thoughts on this subject are.
Well, my thoughts, as you're getting to grips with, I absolutely love creating business, and I absolutely love helping people. So before Crunch even started in 2008, I created Freelance Advisor, and we started piling all the content in and getting loads of people to write for us. And you always see me like trying to convince my friends, don't work for that bank, go and set up your own business. So this really comes from the heart with me. I love people to be in control of their lives and to create something rather than being that number in that big corporate business. So and Freelance Advisor turned into Crunch Choruses, which Tom's spoken very, very kindly about all of our content, and probably got the whole content team watching this now, and they're amazing in all those knowledge guides and stuff to help people. And before we came onto this, it's amazing actually to see the traffic into Crunch. It's about 3.4 million sessions a year. We're just underneath Deloitte, which is in the big four, and even HMRC, and I kid you not, come in to check our content out. There's a lot of traffic in there. So, getting the business off the ground, coming up with the name, I spent ages over personally getting the name right. So the first one, in a world full of spam, it had to be anti-spam, it had to be pure. So Pure 360 was the first business. And then with Crunch, it was originally called Accounts for You with the number 4. It's like, oh, it's as bad as it gets. It gives me the EBGBs thinking about it. And again, talk to as many people as you can on the naming. And it's often someone, you can chat to, well, when we can go to the pub, chat to the pub and go, I'm trying to come up with my business name. And I mean, sort of jams or something, or I mean photography, and just often people you don't really know come out with amazing names. So in the pub in the middle of the countryside, someone said, oh well, that business you're talking about is number crunching, it's Crunch, isn't it? I went, that's it, brilliant. And there was no network in the middle of the countryside, so I couldn't go and check all the domain name companies like, oh, is it available, no, it's not available, damn it. So yeah, spend a bit of time over the name, but don't worry about it. Come up with a project name first, just to get yourself going, because it took me 6 months to come up with Crunch. And don't let the naming stop you. We set up thousands of limited companies, and that can stop people when they're just about to join Crunch. And I can't think of the right name. Well, don't worry about it. The original name, limited company name for Pure 360 was called Pure Promoter Limited, if I can get that out, and then the domain became Pure 360 to shorten it. So project name first, and then the real name will drop in that sort of pulls at the heartstrings. Okay. Copyright and trademarking, well, that's a massive area. You can do that later. I did it a fraction later with Crunch, and then I ran into a few problems. You're often too busy to do the trademarking and register the name and all of the product details. With the IPO, which is the intellectual sort of office in the UK for registering trademarks. So I always say do that a little fraction later. It is kind of important if you've got an amazing brand name or a product name. If it's a product, then do it faster. The web domains, I think that's kind of important, but don't get too hung up on it. I use names.co.uk, and you can instantly search for what names are available. And if you can't quite come up with a name for your business, of which of course has been taken by some cyber squatter, and they want to charge you an inordinate amount of money for it, then work on how you can do that. If we couldn't have got Crunch, it would have been e-crunch, electronic number crunching, or Go Crunch, like there used to be, or Get Albert. Don't spend too much time, but get something that is easily conversible. And my rule with the name and the domain names is that you can shout it across a noisy bar or pub and someone get it. Don't come up with some fangled, name for your business and domain name that is really hard to. What did you say? It's what? Is that? Can you write that down for me? And that's exactly what you don't want. You want it so they get it straight away. Crunch, got it. Yeah. You can shout it across the bar or pub. So try and keep it short and clear. I know it's progressively harder out there. Clients, as Tom said, brilliant advice. Start with the family. In Pure 360, I didn't know how to find email marketing clients and speak to marketeers. And believe it or not, Mum was my best salesperson. She started talking to all of her friends. My son's setting up this business, and you've got to have a look at it. And it only happened that one of her friends' son was a marketeer. So I did a video call with them in the early days. That was probably 2010, and that was one of the first sales. So always just reach out to talk to as many people as you can. There's often you hear that big fear of people like, I definitely can't talk to that person because they might nick my idea. Do not worry unless it is a product idea and it's your direct competitor who probably could nick it. Talk to as many people as you can. Tell them what you're doing. Call around. Keep calling around. And it's surprising where you find the first clients dropping in. So just keep talking. You have to turn yourself into a massive talking machine. So by the end of the day, you've almost got no voice. That's how much you need to be talking. I can't call it sales because a lot of people don't like selling, but it's marketing and selling yourself to find your first clients.
Interesting. That's really great. I'll move on to your slide in a second. Just one interesting thing that's going on in the chat room as we're going on here. There's been I think, who was it? Was it Miles was asking for any suggestions for a product design agency name? He was a bit stuck. Nigel went back with Flair, F-L-A-I-R, and Miles was like, "Yep, like it. Thank you. I'll check that out." So
I love it.
We're making.
I love it. We're creating businesses while we're talking. Yeah, I mean, the team know how I absolutely love seeing business created. And my partnership manager yesterday, Chris, was talking about this mobile. A barber's sort of business that you buy into the franchise as a barber and you get the van and it's a whole mobile hairdressers and it's called Trim It, and I absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. So I get super excited about all these businesses. So like the name.
Great. So there are some other questions coming in there as well, but we'll get to those in the Q&A. If you are putting questions in the chat, if you could maybe also put them in the Q&A section as well, just so we get to those later on, so we don't miss out on them. That'd be fantastic. So Daniel, maybe on to your next slide. How are we going to work?
Right. So how are you going to work? This is, as you can imagine, with Crunch, we've been going for 10 plus years. These are the classic questions. Should I go sole trader or limited? Well, if you're starting out, then you can obviously start sole trader, and at the right point, go limited. If you're working for clients on client sites, not now, of course, then you probably need the security and protection for them of a limited company. So sole trader is easier. The way to remember it is it's all intermingled with you as a person. So you'll be paying more tax. Likely you will be paying more tax. And at around 30 to 35K, of revenues, really, I mean, we could talk about net profits, but think about 30 to 35, then you go limited. Now, there's other reasons why people go limited. They want to look more professional. The clients demand it because they won't work with a sole trader entity. They want to work with a limited entity. There's many other benefits, of course, of limited. It's limited liability. You still need your professional indemnity insurances and everything, but if something disastrous happens, then the limited name is exactly that. It is limited liability to you as a director. So you're separating yourself out from that business. And there are endless reasons why that's so important. There are obviously more things to do, more bits of paperwork, but that's why I created Crunch. Now, I'm not going to be plugging Crunch, but I am not an accountant and I hate all that admin and red tape. and the idea is to take it away with an online accountancy firm. But yeah, there is more work with the limited company, but there's less tax to pay, more tax efficiency, and lots of protections on your customer side and on your side. I mean, onto the other ones, there is other structures out there like partnerships and LLPs and things, which you see lawyers or accountants are doing. We personally don't deal with that because that's it's not for everybody. I think there's some advantages with partnerships. Say for example, if you're bringing an office into the partnership that you own, it's easier to pull that out at the end if the partnership dissolves. Whereas a limited company, the limited company would be buying the office. So yeah, we don't really touch the partnership side. So the two main ones, sole trader and limited, and the predominance in our client base is obviously limited, which is at about 10,000, and the sole traders actually now is growing probably faster at about sort of 75% to 25% limited. So that's that.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, this is my mantra all along because I know what I'm like, and I sort of created Crunch in my own image that you've got to get into that mindset. It is so easy. I can't tell you how many customers we see who have left it to the nth point. They set up a limited company, they've done nothing, they haven't recorded any expenses or invoices properly, and we're bringing them on. They're like, so when's your accounts due? Tomorrow. Pardon? Did you sign up with an accountant? No. So it's so easy to do that. So before you get going, exactly as Tom, you've done, which I think is excellent, you get those things sorted out first. Even if it's a basic spreadsheet, you start recording things properly. Just get that habit going, and it makes a massive difference. At the beginning point, get your bank sorted. Some of the high street banks are taking a ridiculous amount of time. They're taking 180 days to set up. Now, that's a traditional bank, thankfully Tide, which is one of our main partners. You can set it up instantly. But what was it, Kieran? Was it 10 minutes?
Yeah, 5-10 minutes, really quick. And then you get your sort code and account number within that time as well, so you can start banking instantly. And then your beautiful Tide card comes through the post a few days later as well. So yeah, and Tom had that experience really quick.
That is a dream. That is a dream.
Really
if we only had that, 10 years ago when we started Crunch, it'd be amazing. But the thing is, get that habit going. Get the bank account set up. You used to have to go there for the KYC, with your passport and your utility bills. It's the know your customer checks. But it's so amazing where we've got to in this day and age that you can set up within 10 minutes and get the card through the post. So get those things going first. Yeah, you can use a spreadsheet. As you can see, I'm utterly passionate about this and people going freelancing, setting up small businesses. I love it. So I managed to convince my board to give away the software that we spent many millions on. So we launched that right in the middle of the lockdown, and we had a sole trade at the end of October, and it's flying. There's 1,000 sign-ups a month, and that does it all for you. So yeah, you can use spreadsheets easily or Google Sheets. There's loads and loads of bits of software out there. Crunch Free is out there. Have a look at that, and it integrates beautifully into Tide there. So yeah, just get those habits going. I can't tell you how important it is, because you do not want to be that customer that's sitting down with the accountant going, my accounts are due tomorrow, because it will cost you an arm and a leg to sort it out, because they go, a traditional accountant will go, bookkeeping at X pounds per hour, and yes, and express services, yes, and then you can spend thousands. So if you get into those good habits there, the other major thing it does is, and I've experienced this before I set up Crunch, is that stress of not knowing you haven't done it, knowing you haven't got the stuff ready for your self-assessment on the 31st of January. It eats away at you. And then until the end of the year, you're like, I'm so fed up with this. If you get the habits going neatly at the beginning, then it just feels so much better. What needs to be in a contract? well. Your payment terms, all the basics need to be in there. I think we've got loads of templates on Crunch to start with. Depends whether you're selling services or product services. I mean, I could be on that one for a long time, but go and get a template service. One of our partners that will be turned on soon is Lawbite, and there are endless templates, so you can get them as cheap as chips or free ones. I know we've got some free ones there, and depending on what you're doing, whether it's a product or a service, download the template and have a look at it. You should be able to get away without needing a lawyer, which gets expensive. But again, things like Lawbite are brilliant because they will check over that contract you've done and send you an email back without you having to sit in front of a lawyer with the clock ticking, which it can get expensive. So get a template, get the right template, and get it with a bit of a checker. Credit control. Why give credit? This is the biggest problem that we see. And people put on their invoice, 30 days. Are you a bank? No, it takes a lot to be a bank. So why give any credit at all? So you've got to be very, very careful. And I was so incensed with our customers being screwed over by big corporates and other people that I went to find the best debt collecting service I could, and it happens to be a lovely family run business called Safe Collections in Manchester, passed on from father to son. They know how to collect debts. They're not like Phil Mitchell in a black leather jacket that turn up and knock on people's doors. They will put those nice calls in, follow the process, but you don't want to let it get to that point. So I'm about to do the YouTube series for Crunch Chorus, and if you get Adam, the owner of that business, on, he will have you in stitches about like the scenarios people have got them into, and his mantra is, why give credit? Yes, you can put 7 days on there. And what I like to say, the simple thing is, if you've got a brand new client and you're not sure, then get 50% up front. And I know probably a lot of you are going, oh, I couldn't possibly ask for that. But if they balk at that, then you know you're going to have a problem. And I can honestly say, and hopefully, Tom, you haven't experienced this, that if you do an amazing job for someone, and then you send the invoice in, and then 30 days time you call them up, and they're not going to pay, or they're delaying. I can't tell you how horrible that feels. It feels awful because you put all your creative energies in there. So don't give credit if you don't need to, and I don't think you need to. New customer, test them out, 50% upfront.
Nice.
Can I just jump in and add a couple of tips?
Sure.
It's perfect what you said about the invoicing and keeping records. So as soon as I decided I was going to go freelance and started buying equipment, keep the receipts, just put them in a folder, because you can claim back expenses. I can't remember the amount of months before you start up, but you can claim back your expenses. So just put everything that's going towards the business into a folder, paper, digital, doesn't matter. And going back to the invoices as well, we had a 25-day payment term, and 90% of the clients would abuse that. And as soon as we restricted our payment term down, we were getting paid on time. So bear that in mind. You sound like you're being generous, but it doesn't work in your favour.
Yeah,
sure.
I think there's another trick is just putting that call or that email in a week before it's due, and that tends to get it paid on that point. Yeah. So well done. There's a load of lessons to be learned there, but I don't want anybody to go through. All of us have at some stage will hit this. It's not nice. There is ways of resolving it. It's and as I say, Safe Collections are amazing. They help out our entire community, and they get called in to deal with some really painful cases. But you don't want to let it get to getting debt collectors in. Control it at the beginning, and if you're not sure about a client, just test that 50% like upfront, if not 100% upfront. You can weed out the people that are gonna screw you over, and that's the thing you want to do.
Yeah.
So,
what's this next one?
to,
Just slightly aware of the time. I know we got.
am I gabbling? I did tell you to.
Not gabbling at all. You're giving us some fantastic information. I'm really grateful.
Right. I know. You got to give me a virtual nudge, Cohen.
So we've got 2 more slides to get through, and I think we've got some.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I'll speed up. Business expense. It has to be completely attributable to the business. Okay. So don't think you can. Well, you can probably get a couple of plants for your office, but it's got to be completely attributable to the business. So, Tom's been super kind about all of our content. Go and search for what can I expense on my business, and there's that full list. But HMRC are incredibly picky. And you think, say, if you're a barrister, the barrister's actually going to court with their wig and their full gowns. You think that would be completely tax deductible. It is not. It is not. So HMRC are very, very fussy on these things. So go and look in the list. If it's a good accounting system, it will have loads and loads of help, and what is, has VAT on it, what is not VAT applicable, and all of those things. But there's some really good lists out there, and there's one on Crunch. Insurance, travel, home office. Yes, you can claim some monies for your home office. Again, there's an article on Crunch for that. The proportion of the home office that is of your property can be claimed, and you get monies back from the council tax. But again, amazing article on Crunch for that. Go and have a look, and it feels nice to get a bit of money back for your space that you're using for the office. As Tom, with you, Tom, if it's any specific tools, yes, you can get that kit, but again, check it, with the guides. And if you're really unsure, or it's a very expensive bit of kit, check with your accountant. I've gone on quite a bit about logging and reporting on all of everything. We've got a Snap applications. You take pictures of your receipt. Just get into the habit. The coffee and the sandwich that is on a business trip, subsistence, keep snapping all of that stuff. Get it into the system. I know that facility is available in Tide. It's so useful. Once you get into the habit, it's amazing how much money that we hear back from customers. I saved £4,000 because I got into the habit of recording this stuff as I went, whereas I'd always lose the taxi receipt, or I'd lose the pret-a-manger receipts. So just get into that habit and find a good system out there. And there's, as I said, there's a lot of free ones, including Crunch. And yes, you should keep all the receipts for 6 years. So if you're putting it into a digital system, don't worry about this perfect ordered file at home where it's all like date ordered. Just chuck it into a bag. And the reason why that exists is if HMRC, if you've played with a few of the rules and they caught you and they do an investigation, that's again something you don't want to get involved with. They will ask for the real proof of that. I think we still need to keep the originals, and we need to check. I need to check in the content of Crunch, but just keep them in a bag, keep them in a shoebox. But if you've got into that habit, you've snapped it all. It is all perfectly categorized, in your accounting software, and the actual pictures of the receipts are in there.
Great.
So next one, good.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you. And finally.
Oh, I've been banging on about this. Top survival tips. Yeah, get the habit going, get the software going, have a look at Crunch Free if you want, or have a look at some other piece of software. Make sure it integrates with things. There's a few free things out there that won't give you open banking feeds, or what I get really annoyed about is you send the third invoice and it goes, that is now $10 a month. It's like, it's really, really annoying. So see if you can find ones unlimited. I convinced my board to make invoicing and expensing and open bank feeds and the bank integrations all free. So yes, they're waiting and watching for me to see a few upgrades coming from all this free usage. The bank accounts and the bank fees I've just mentioned. Just get into that habit again every month. all the receipts you've scanned, log into your accounting software. And if you need to do a bit of categorization, the thing that we have to do, if someone upgrades to the full service, is you get a client manager and access to all the accountants, but the client managers are always calling. And the number one phone call and email from us is, please reconcile your accounts. So what I mean by that is you've got the beautiful open banking feed working, and you've got all of your expenses and all of your invoices. And if it's a really good piece of software, it should automatically match things up. And it takes seconds, and you just go match, 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 match. But it's that reconciliation process that a lot of people will leave to the nth degree. So that's why we have to chase them, because we're not just a software provider. If you upgrade, we've got a duty of care to make sure that you run your business correctly. So reconcile. So spend that time. And again, it's that feeling good factor. It really does feel good. I'm up to date. I could press a button at year end and have my self-assessment done, which is great. Yep. There's all the recording and claiming for expenses. As Tom was suggesting, some of the expenses you can attribute back to that project and recharge your customer, which feels great, obviously with prior agreement. And I've said that without hopefully selling it too hard. We can do all of these bits for you. So have I got another slide, or was that it, Kurt?
No, that's it, Darren. I think as far as I know, yep, that's it for now.
That's it.
That's it. Great. Thank you so much. And we're going to quickly get to the Q&A section in a minute. I know we're in towards 11 o'clock, so if people do have to drop off, we are recording the session, and you will get an email from me post-event with a link to rewatch this. So any questions that you have put in, we'll try and answer those. If we don't have time, we'll get around to maybe doing it offline and sending you the answers via email as well. Just a bit more information about what to expect from me post-event too. I'll be sending an email to everybody that's attended or hasn't managed to attend today's event, and on that email there'll be the link, as I mentioned, to rewatch this video on YouTube, which you can share with your friends and family and colleagues. If you're not a Tide member, there'll also be a link on that email for you to very easily become a Tide member. All you'll need to do is click on that link, download the Tide app, follow the very easy instructions, and as you've heard, it takes a very short amount of time and a really easy process to become a Tide member. Because there's no startup fees or monthly or annual fees, you can, as mentioned previously, try us out alongside your current business bank account to see how we can save you time and money. Also, I'm about to put links to all of our social channels and our YouTube channel in the chat as well. So take time, have a look around our social channels, look on the YouTube channel as well for any other webinars and masterclasses that might be of interest. And if you're watching this on YouTube, everything that we discussed, all the links will be in the description below as well. And remember to subscribe to our channel and have a look around and see what may be of interest.
And Kuhn,
yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. Anybody looking at that side, it's lying, isn't it? On accounting integrations,
Sorry?
it's on the accounting integrations, it says a number of things connected. It is Crunch as well.
Yes, Crunch is there as well.
just to make the case, but that's not your fault with the slides. The press, we've been a partner with Tide, I think, for a good 2 to 3 months, if not before. We've been recommending Tide on every single sale, and the PR is only going out next week, and then Crunch will appear on your slides,
yes,
Kuhn, and across the whole website of Tide.
Perfect. Yeah, of course.
Because I gave you a hard time yesterday about that. Where is Crunch?
Great. So as mentioned, all those links are in the chat room now, and yeah, do please keep an eye out for that email that will be coming in the next few days with the links. I think we had Miles, who said he's already wants to sign up for an account. And Miles, I think I meant you asked for a referral code. That will be in that email, which I'll send to you today. So if you could just be patient and wait for that referral code, that would be fantastic. Great, let's try and get through some questions, and I fully understand people need to drop off again towards 11, but we'll get through as many of these questions as we can. One that I want to start off with is, what do you think are the best ways to find new clients? Tom, I guess maybe that would be one that we could start off with you.
Yeah, start basic, start local. Again, start with friends and family. Start reaching out, explaining what you're doing, what your services you're going to be offering, what products you're offering. And then even maybe go around to some local businesses, chuck in some cards, talk to some people, or even come up with some companies or clients who you really would want to work with, your ideal clients, and just approach them. There's nothing wrong in sending emails, sending social messages, messaging people on LinkedIn. The more people you message, the more businesses you message, the more business you'll get. just being nice as well.
Nice.
Tom, you keep saying about being nice. Were you not very nice before?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Like, before you went freelance, you were just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, you suddenly became nice when you went freelance.
It comes across that way, doesn't it? I just assume that you'd have to advertise to get clients, but just talking to people is the best way. Is the best way to get clients.
Exactly. And when we can all network again, there'll be loads of groups out there. You can go networking in the freelance space. There's a thing in Brighton called The Farm, and that's full of all the like tech and programmers and designers and stuff. And I used to go to that, and you meet so many amazing people. One day we'll be able to do that again. And I think you probably can do that online. Whatever your profession is, there must be an online photography networking thing. Yeah. But when we come out of COVID restrictions, then just get out there. You won't be able to do it forever as your business builds up and the client base builds up. But get talking to absolutely everybody. And you're right, you don't need to advertise. You just keep talking to people, and these leads will appear from magically nowhere.
You'll be very surprised.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Question came in from Mickey Harris. I'm not sure if he'll be able to answer this, but he says, why can't sole traders claim for client entertaining, and is there a way to do so? Is that something, Darren, you have any knowledge on? If it's not, don't worry, and I can take this to one of our experts, and Mickey maybe come back to you offline.
Well, client entertaining isn't allowable on a limited company side either, because they kind of HMRC cottoned onto that. People used to take their friends and family out and then keep submitting these twonking great big receipts. So it's not deductible. But again, just look at those expense guides and. You've got to understand that HMRC is forever tuning things down, not catching things out, finding loopholes, closing those loopholes. But client entertainment was stopped a long time ago because of the obvious overuse by a lot of business people.
And then we had a question, where has it gone now, from Ronnie, for both panelists. If you had the opportunity to go back in time, what would you do differently, I guess, in terms of going freelance or starting your business? Is there only just one shining example which you could both give potentially?
Don't do it during COVID. Honestly, no, because I think every kind of decision I've made has been a learning curve. So I don't think there's anything I would change apart from the current climate. But no.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think just do it and probably do it earlier. There's always something in the back of your head going, I'll do it when. I'll set up my own business when I've got 5 years of money in the bank or something. It's procrastination is quite easy. So do it at that point that just before it feels right. It kind of feels right. Just go and do it. Get going with it. I mean, the thing that I did, Pure 360 was I was doing the 5 to 9er as it's called. So I'd come home from my corporate job and start working on the business. And it got to a point, and I wasn't bringing in enough money at all. I went, I'm going to go for it. So I walked into my sales director's office and went, I've had it enough. I'm going to go and set it up. So you can do those crossover points there. So you come home from work and you start building the business. But it would be a great idea to get all the building blocks in there, the accounting system there, the bank set up. You're working on the name. You've written like you said, Tom, the mission and vision, what you want to achieve. You don't have to do a big plan. And then at a certain point you just go, I'm going to go for it. So do it before it's truly comfortable, but do it earlier. And I did it when I was about 34, and I wished I'd done it a bit earlier rather than being stuck in corporate companies that really didn't care about me at all.
Nice.
Actually, I really agree with you on that, Darren. Yeah, definitely stop procrastinating and get it done.
Yeah. Go for it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. You'll be on a roller coaster ride, but it is such a feeling of reward that you've done that. And for everybody that's watching this, haven't done this yet. When you first get your first invoice paid, and you look and you go, I made that money myself. I made that money myself. I'm not just getting a pay slip from the company. I made that, and that feels amazing. There's loads of these points that you can look forward to that feel amazing.
Yeah,
to do it.
really good point. Obviously, where it's 12 o'clock, we're going to carry on, if that's okay with Darren and Tom, just for a few more minutes with the questions. Aware that people may need to drop off to go to the meeting. Just have a good number of people on the call, so we'll push on for a few more minutes if that's okay with you guys. But if you do need to leave, again, just underline that this session will be recorded and we'll share the link with you. And any questions that we don't get to, I'll try my best to do those offline with the panel. So another question I had is, what do you think is the best way to successfully price yourself and your services, guys? Is there a way to do that? That's something which may be of interest to people. Tom,
do you want to go, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll say something quick. Again, talk to competitors and find out what competitors are pricing. Again, networking, you'll figure out what kind of the baseline price is via networking. There's also a lot of online groups who you can also ask for opinions, especially when it comes to photography and video. There is a website called the OAP website where you can actually use calculators to work out your base day rates. But as well, it will just come with time. You'll work out which jobs you underprice or which jobs you overprice that you don't get. And yeah, it will just be one of these over time you will learn what your price point is and where you fit in the market.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant advice. I mean, looking at the competitors piece, I still do to this day. I mean, I've been doing Crunch for 13 plus years, and I still routinely look through all of the competitors, and I'm searching other competitors, and then I'm looking at other people around the world. It's kind of that's a good habit to get into. Right at the beginning, though, and I think, Tom, you've learned a few lessons on this. I don't see it being an issue having what you'd call case study customers. So you can do those, just one or two ones on the cheaper side, or give them something else on top of the service to get those first customers coming in, and you can get case studies up on your website is good. But after that point, and you really understand the pricing point, make sure you value what you're worth, which clearly, Tom, you've done, and you've reset your price. It's just too easy to go in cheap.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Good point. And then just on the back of that, we actually had last year we did a masterclass on pricing yourself, getting the price of your business correctly, and I've just put a link for that in the chat there as well for you to go and have a look at if you're interested in making sure you're getting the price right. Question from Lisa. She said, I'm stuck on a business name and this has brought me to a complete halt. Would you suggest a project name and then rebrand later, or hold on for the right business name? I guess you covered that a bit earlier, Darren, but is it possible to move forward with a project name and then rebrand?
Absolutely. Because I see so many people, literally, I think, on all of the calls and emails coming in a day, you'd find that 50% might get stuck on a name. And then that's holding them back. So project name is always the way I start, and we do that on our product names as well. Any new features and product names, let's give it a working name, and it just gets you moving. And I call the names shower names, because it's always the worst possible point. You come up with the most amazing idea for that product or the business, and in Crunch, 6 months, there'll be wet footprints across the bedroom carpet to a pad of scribbles of names. So yeah, just come up with the project name, like, Beta X10, and then that name would just drop in. You go, oh, brilliant. So you can set up the limited company name, whatever you want. If you're going limited or sole trader, it matters less. And you can change the limited company name very, very easily. Or, as I said, with the Pure Promoter example and Pure 360, you can have it as anything, and then you just use the words trading as the new name you can come up with. So really don't worry about it, and don't let it stop you.
Okay. Great, that's awesome. And then we get a nice message from Neil Macy just saying, all links fantastic. Can't wait to sign up with Tide and Crunch, which is great news. So we're very pleased about that. We'll look forward to welcoming you as a member. Please wait for that email to come through to you with the referral code and the click through, and we'll get that to you today. Question from Rory Townsend. I'm not sure about this, so maybe Darren, you can shed some light on it. If you opt for a limited company over sole trader and you're working from home, are there any implications for council tax? Is that something you need to think about, or not? or is that not something?
If you look at the guide, if you go into Crunch and search for the guide about a home office and what you can claim back, you'll see it in there. So you can claim back a proportion. So say your office was an amazing 25% of your property, then the guide in there will give you the advice of how to do it. So you will be claiming that percentage back, but there's the calculation in there, and it will give you the specific advice. So yes, you will be able to get some monies back, but please read the guide. And if you've got any questions or want to speak to a human being, then just call up Crunch and we'll help you, send you the guide and guide you through the nuances of it. But yes, you can get money back.
Perfect. And then one from Belita. The question I think is, should you be claiming your business expenses every month or at the end of the tax year? Is that a clear question? I wasn't quite sure.
No, it is. It's just all the tax deductibility. Depends whether you're, it is often it's an annual thing. So limited, you're filing your accounts 9 months later. So the expenses are deducted there from your corporation tax. If it's the limited case, and there's less things you can expense against the business as a sole trader. But to remind everybody, I set this up as a non-accountant, and I'm surrounded obviously by accountants at Crunch, and we've written all these brilliant articles on there. So go and have a look. They are super clear. There's downloadable knowledge guides in Crunch. We've got this all surrounded in a community called Crunch Chorus. So you can sign up in seconds and download as much as you want. And if you want to talk to anybody, just pick up the phone and we'll guide you through how that works. And you'll get it. You get it in seconds. But I will say limited stuff around that, because I'm not the accountant. There are a lot here at Crunch.
And one more on company name. This is Miles, who we helped out earlier with on the chat, and he came up with suggested a new company name, which he seems to be happy about. But he's also asked, following up on the company name, would you keep a company simple, i.e. Flair, as we've come up with today, or add other words to make it clearer to what they specialise in? For example, Flair Product Development. What would be your thoughts around that?
Tom, should I pick this up?
Yeah, I was just going to add that briefly for us. So we're called SouthWorks, but we put SouthWorks Creative at the end. So it's because SouthWorks is quite a generic name. So SouthWorks Creative, it's kind of a creative business. So that's just a little tip. That's just why we've called ourselves what we've called ourselves, just to make it a bit more obvious. And especially when I'm sending emails or a website, you can just add that little bit more of obviousness to what it is.
So the other way, that's one way of doing it. It's a very, very good way of doing it. The other thing you can do if you love shorter names is go with a shorter name, and in your brand, if you want to create a brand, the strapline is the descriptor. So currently Crunches love accounting, which is a bit odd because a lot of people hate accounting, so it kind of makes you think. But it talks about what Crunch is, because a lot of people ask us, well, what is Crunch, and how did you come up with the name? Well, it's number crunching. I personally love short names, so that's when you use the strap line to convey what you do. So Tom's could be brilliant photography. The strap line is a good way of describing it, but the other way of doing it is to have that longer business name.
Brilliant. That's really helpful. And then I think finally, we've covered as many questions as we can. I don't want to keep people too long. There was Julio Manon just wanted, Tom, you were talking about a website to find your price point, and he wasn't able to hear what the website was. Yeah,
it's the Association of Photographers website. If you just Google Association of Photographers, they have wealth of knowledge on there. I think you can sign up for free, and they have a lot of they have resources about how to price yourself, how to set your base rates. They have template contracts, invoicing, everything on there. It's really, really useful for the photography side of it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I think the other thing to mention on Crunch, and I just thought about what the content team did. They did a brilliant job on this. They simulated all of the sort of the rates across all of the regions in the UK, and it's like a price checker. So again, that sits within Crunch. Don't know whether you have to be a community member, but again, it takes seconds. It's completely free. Have a look in there. There's a salary or rates checker in Crunch to see, like, within your region what's the right pricing points, and then the specialism. Then that will maybe tune that up or down after that.
Perfect. And then there's one more question, if you don't mind, just come in. We're getting a lot of questions, which is great. From Belita, what was your advice for a foreign person working to open a business? I find it challenging about the language because English is my third language. Would you have any extra baggage on onboarding clients, and what would your advice be along those kind of lines? I think having English as a third language is an amazing skill anyway.
Yeah.
But I think I understand the issues you may be considering or having.
Cool. Was that directed to me?
It was for the whole panel. Either way, if you have any experience knowledge around that.
Yeah, well, I think I wish I could speak other languages. Yeah, I promised myself I will learn French at one point on top of my school French. I think you were amazing. Third language. Yeah, well, all I can say is just dive in there. You will learn fast. There are lots of business nuances in the English language, but yeah, just dive in and you'll pick it up super fast. So I really wouldn't worry about it. You're clearly very bright to speak English as your third language, so I don't think you'll have any issue picking up all the nuances of the business words.
Exactly. She just let us know she actually speaks 4 languages, so now she just.
We are not worthy.
Yeah, exactly. And Lisa has asked, she's got loads of business ideas and what she wants to do, but how will she decide on what to focus down on? I think there's lots of people have loads of business ideas, but how do you sort of streamline them and come up with a pinpoint plan for what you should be doing or what she wants to move forward with? I guess that's an interesting point.
Yeah, well,
I would start with something I was just going to say, start with something you're most passionate about. Start with something that really, kind of excites you, and then take it from there. There's no point coming up with 5, 6 different business ideas if you think you're going to make a couple of quid here and there. You need to be something that you're passionate about and that you can see out in the long run.
Yeah. Well, I'll add to that. Yeah. Do the thing you're most passionate about. But I sit with so many people, or used to sit with so many people who have got all these ideas, like, what on earth do I do? And I like, just go for one that you're most passionate about. And I give you the example, which will make you all laugh. My first business, Pure 360 email marketing done properly, anti-spam, was not the first idea. The first idea was a party portal that sent out the email invites for the party person holding the party, SMS reminders at the time of the party. You could upload all the photographs and videos to it, and I called that business partytastic.com, which I thought was the best name in the world. And 1 year in, the learning was there for the email marketing system. So always just go with it. I always believe in momentum, and at a point you start tuning the idea because you're speaking to lots of people, hopefully, and you go, oh no, I need to change that. I need to change that. Oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't do a party portal. I should allow any business owner to actually send out email and SMS messages done properly, of course. So yeah, start, and it's about momentum. And once you're on that journey, you go, oh no, I changed that, and I changed that. Or you may change the idea and shift it more dramatically. So just pick the idea you're most passionate about, and the real idea will come out.
Awesome. I think advising people to do what they're passionate about is a fantastic way to end today's session. I'd like to thank everybody that's joined. We still have a good number of people joining us, so a reminder to keep an eye out for that email coming from myself in the next couple of days. If you're not a Tide member, we'd really like to have you on board, and so you can start saving yourself time and money. And all the links that we've shared will be in that email as well. If you're watching on YouTube, will be in the description below. So that just leaves me to thank our panel, Darren and Tom. Thank you so much, guys. It was an absolute pleasure having you along. I think the testament that we've still got a large number of people on the call 15 minutes after the proposed end. means that it's been a fantastic
Nice.
session with some great questions, and it's just been, it's been really, really interesting. So thank you very much for your time, and
thanks for having me, Cohen.
Pleasure, and we'll
great to meet you, Tom.
Great.
Yeah, great to meet you too, Darren, and thank you to everyone that joined us. Really appreciate it. It's been really nice to have a catch up.
Great stuff.
No, thanks so much, everybody. Yeah, keep the questions flowing, and Cohen, just pass them over to me, and I can get any people to call back, or we can help out if anybody's got any burning questions. I can help out. I'm good on product names as well. Don't send too many through. But yeah, so absolutely brilliant to see you all today, and hopefully I've helped. Because I absolutely love helping and seeing people set up their own business.
Perfect, great. Thank you very much all, and keep an eye out for future Tide Masterclass and events happening over the next few months, and we'll be in touch. Have a great day, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.